So last year, we went out to Texas for the GPS 180, and while we were there, we went over to GoPowerSports, and they showed us their new Rascal GT mini bike frame. Well, it was new at the time, and right when I saw that frame, I was like, I have to have that frame. So this frame pretty much has any bracket you would ever need. So you got the steering stabilizer bracket, you got tank mounts, multiple foot peg mounts. And what I really like about it, it has the angled motor mount, so you can use torque converter or clutch or whatever type of drive system you want without having to buy another motor mount. Then you have the chain tensioner mounts, multiple chain tensioner mounts. And in the axle hangers, you can pretty much run whatever axle you want. And another nice thing about this frame, it is super light. I think it only weighs like 21 or 22 pounds. Then you have your kickstand mount. So this thing's cool. You could make a full-on drag bike with it, a cruiser, or whatever in between. Then we have the front forks, which are super light. Then we have the aluminum tank. The tires. Then we got the seat, which is really light. Yeah, that thing is pretty cool. And you have the center exhaust. Got the drag bars, or drag handlebars. You got a dual piston brake. Then you have the top plate for the top of the frame there, which looks really cool. That'll look nice on there. You have this chain guard. Nice brushed aluminum. Yeah, that thing looks pretty sweet. Man, I might have to paint this bike black. Probably go good with all that silver. You got the rear sprocket. Then you have the hardware to mount the forks and then the axles. So we got the risers. Yeah, those look pretty nice. We have the universal sprocket adapter. Throttle cable. Okay, so you got the tank brackets. Kickstand. Engine mounting hardware. Got the wheel hubs. Steering stabilizer. Oh yeah, that thing looks nice. Handle grips. And a twist grip. You have the wheel hub for the DWT wheels. Oh, those things look sweet. Another wheel hub. Then we have the wheel. Man, these things are super light. See ones around the cart. These things are nice. And you have the other wheel. You got more hardware. And we have billet foot pegs. Man, this thing's gonna look sweet with all this spun aluminum and silver on here. And then last but not least, you have the axle hangers. So these are 12mm axle hangers. So there we go. Pretty much an entire Rascal GT mini bike kit. Except for the engine, of course. So now I gotta figure out what color to powder coat it. So I went ahead and went with black on this frame. I think it'll look pretty cool with all the silver and aluminum parts on here. So I'll go ahead and install these forks and the neck bushings. It's nice this bike actually has neck bushings. Some of these bikes run metal on metal. So I use the bolts and a washer and then the bushing, and then we'll see if I can guide this in here. And then put the bolt on here or the nut on here. I figure if I tighten this down, I might be able to press that in there just a little bit. There we go. All right, that'll work. We'll do the bottom side. This fork on here. So I think I'll throw on that steering stabilizer next. Pretty good on there. Yeah, that'll work. So now I think I'll install these risers, which look totally awesome. And they come with stainless hardware. Okay, so there we go. That looks pretty sweet on there. So So I think I'll throw the foot pegs on the front mounts for right now, because I might use this as a cruiser for now until I get a dedicated drag bike engine. So I think I'll mount on the front holes here. So I got the kickstand on here and have the oil catch can mounted. So now I'll go ahead and mount up this tank. So this has a few holes here, or a few mounting holes, but I think with this plate, I can just use the middle holes and then mount the brackets underneath. So I got the tank on there and it turned out pretty sweet. Man, I love that top plate. That thing looks nice. So I think I'll go ahead and make a roller out of this and mount up these wheels and tires. Yeah, this tool makes things so much easier. There we go. Simple as that. Drop this hub on here. All right, so that looks pretty nice on there. So now I'll throw on those wheel bearings and then throw on the sprocket hub and brake disc. Throw this brake on here. Let's see how much space we need, or how much spacer we need. So I used the spacer in here between the disc and the hub. I didn't have to use the spacer, but I just wanted to kick out the disc a little bit farther to get the caliper away from the tire, because I have street tires that go on here that are just a little bit wider on the tread, so they're closer to the caliper. So that'll work. I found some nice spacers to fit in there. So we have a roller. Man, those wheels look nice on there. So now, I guess we throw it up on the stand and throw an engine on it. So I really don't have a dedicated drag bike engine, but I do have a few laying around. So I have this B200 engine, this Tillotson, and the MB200 engine. Got a Predator under there, and then a Briggs. I mean, we could always throw the snowblower engine on there, or the 3-horse. Maybe even the flathead. So I think I'm gonna throw the Tillotson on there. Throw this Premier Stinger on here. I think that'll work out pretty good. Especially for just a cruiser for right now. Throw some chain on here, and hopefully I have enough. Bust a piece of this chain off here. Tensioner wheel. And it's nice, this bike has all these different locations for the tensioner wheel. So this clutch guard, chain guard, clutch guard, is extra wide so it'll accommodate a disc clutch. And the design matches up on the top plate and the motor mount, which is kind of cool. And then another cool thing about it is it slides on even after the clutch is on. Another unique item, or really cool item, is this pipe. So it kind of comes out at an angle on here, which looks kind of cool. pretty much got this side done, I think. So now I'll flip her over and hook up the throttle, and I think that's about it. Throw the twist grip on here. So this cable here doesn't have an end on it, and I'm running a slide carb on here. So I'm gonna have to solder an end on this, and I need to make sure I get enough heat on here so there's no chance of that tip coming off and dropping down into the carb. I mean, I could always zap it with the MIG welder, but I think I'll just solder it. So I think I'll cut the cable here to maybe 2 inches or so, because I have adjustment here and then on the twist grip. So I think 2 inches will be about right. Looks about right. You know, give or take. Throw a little flux on here. Make sure she's nice and clean. So let me get some serious heat on this thing. Yeah, I would recommend just buying a cable and not taking the chance, but you know, as long as you get enough heat on here. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's see how this thing fits on here. Hopefully she fits in here. All right, that'll work, maybe. I mean, even if we only get half throttle, that's okay. It'll still be fun. Oh, there we go, full throttle already. Cool. Got her all finished up. I went ahead and installed a kill switch, even though kill switches are overrated, but still, you never know. Went ahead and moved the foot pegs back. Seems how I saw the drag bars on here. So I guess the only thing to do now is go test it out. Good. Seems like it handles pretty good. Let's make sure nothing's falling off, because you never know with a new bike. So far, so good. up here and see if I can keep up with traffic. This thing moves out pretty good with this gear on here. Feels light, real nice and responsive. Awesome handling bike. You can definitely tell it's light because it gets the speed super quick, even with that highway gear on there. And another thing I noticed, just on that first ride, it runs super smooth. So everything must be in balance with those light wheels. So should I install a dedicated drag engine on there, or should I make it a cruiser?